I am Jim Furnari with another entry drawing demo. This lesson is I'm drawing a vine of tomatoes from a magazine photograph. Magazine photographs are very good to work from because they're cropped well and they're very high quality. So if you want to try to find still lifes, look around in house and garden magazines, try to find your still lifes and work roughly like I am today, and try to just roughly doodle out a composition and just see what you come up with. Okay, so today what I see is I got my 3 tomatoes here. Just gonna rough out a quick line, figure out where they are. I see the top one up around here somewhere. Just loosely doodling in a volume shape, figure out where it is and how big it is. And the next one, large one underneath, is about so far away. Just roughly finding the shape with my 4B artist pencil that I got from Michael's, that can work from light to dark very easily just by the amount of pressure that you put down on it. Okay, so here are the 2 main tomatoes, 1 and 2. And we'll work it in later on to get more of an outline. But right now we're just working very, very roughly. This is introduction. Drop my pencil, excuse me. And the 3rd green tomato, little guy up here, I see in between them. Small oval. Popping right in there like this. Just work like this very loosely, and don't get too hung up on what it's going to look like finished. Just work on building the basic frame of what we're doing. Okay, so here we go. We got the big tomato up top. I'm going to put a little star burst in the center where I see the stem. And then down here on the little guy, I'm going to burst out a little stem from where I see one. And then down here on the medium tomato, I'm going to put down another star burst where I see that stem cap. And then from that stem cap, I see a stem popping out and shooting over. So just make a basic scribbled, shape line. And then that stem moves over to the left and then forks over and comes back to the top stem. Just direction and line is what we're working off of now. And then inside, the top tomato branches off again and works down to the little guy. Now this is all just very rough and loose. We're just playing with simple scribbled shapes to try and build form from inside out. You could work on a finishing technique later on. And if you want to try to find high quality drawing and painting techniques, I recommend going to YouTube and looking through thumbing through some of the artists' tutorials that are there. The artists are masters and their direction is excellent. I use it all the time. Okay, so we got the basic volume shapes of the tomatoes so far. Two large beef steaks and 1 small green beef steak. Still hasn't ripened or grown. And here we are, just having fun. Just remember, this is entry level, but it will still be good enough to mat, frame, and hang in your house. Even if it doesn't get much further than the scribbled shape phase. because it's still interesting. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as art is interesting and it's good enough to hang. Even abstract is good enough to hang. I mean, Jackson Pollock, you know, what did he do? He threw paint on a canvas and it was considered masterwork. So don't worry about what it's going to look like or how good you are. Just playing with basic shapes, ovals. Alright, so I got my 3 ovals down, trying to figure out where they are in relationship with each other and where they stand in the universe, as we all are, trying to figure out where we belong in the universe. Okay, now I can maybe play around with the stems themselves, thicken them up, give them some life, maybe even darken them on the underside. By pressing harder, I'll bring it out more three-dimensionally by pressing harder, and the black to white will make it look more 3D. The stem coming out of this little green guy, I'm going to darken that up a little bit, give it some life. Okay, I'm going to use the side of my pencil for shadow underneath and showing the tomato creases. And underneath shadows to try to bring this thing to life. Okay, I got my stem cap on my big beefsteak down here. I'm just going to shadow it, bring it up so it's visible. You know, this is just Mother Nature. This is darkened underneath, like the others. This one also. Bring up the darkness slowly. If you want, you can push in some of the shadow with your fingertips and bring it around. And slowly blend. Blending will give it a more realistic look. But we're not even looking for realism today. We're just looking for entry, form. Alright, let's darken it up underneath. Make it pop a little bit. Okay, round and round we go. Around these ovals. Okay, I'm seeing a stem coming out of this cap down here on this big guy. I'm going to shadow it in so it comes to life a bit. And comes out and over. And actually off of this sheet. I'm working on a big pad today. You can do this on 8.5/11. Again, you can find it at any stationery aisle in the supermarket or Walgreens, or you can go to Michael's and buy a hardcover sketch pad and the a set of B pencils. And once again, explain to the salespeople what you're trying to do, and they can help you through it. Okay, here we go with the stems coming out from this bottom tomato. And I have it coming up over to this top tomato. And it forks over to the little guy. But we're going to throw in the stem that pops out. And a crease that pops over. This is just a basic form. Starting out with still lives going to be simple forms, what I call drawing from scribbled shapes. And later on you can erase away and add back so you can find your outline, and slowly work in your shading and your blending until you find something more finished. But that's why God invented erasers. And so it's an adding and subtraction method. I see some more stems growing up out of this top tomato. And there we go. All right, underneath down here looks like it could be a little darker to make it pop. And over here not so dark because there's probably some light coming through at that level. All right, a little dark up here to make it visible. And on this side here. And slowly bring this thing to life using the side of your pencil and shading it in. So darken the stem cap, make the starburst. Remember, this is only entry level of finding shapes from magazine photographs. We'll darken the stem underneath, try to bring it to life a little bit. You can get much more finished by practicing and playing and trial and error. I'm going to darken in this stem here where it bends because it seems to be shadowy. Okay. Looks like this little green guy overlaps the bottom big one. We'll try to drop in some more drop shadows using the side of the pencil where we can to make it more lifelike. Blend it in with our fingers if we want. Blend in the creases of the tomato. And then finally bring it to black. In between, I see some dark areas. You can shade that in with the side of your pencil. This is just trial and error and playing around. It's really just doodling. But this is the beginning of learning how to draw. It's just doodling and scribbling. The top vine I can bring to life a little bit with the shadow underneath. And the tape is off as it leaves the tomato. Okay, and some shadow between these two. But slowly will come to light. And there's actually a leaf in between there. Just a triangular shapes for a leaf. With some notches. And find your outline slowly but surely. Don't worry about how sloppy it looks at first, because like I say, interesting is what is more important than realism at first. I don't want anybody beating themselves up over trying to do this. Trying to take the snobbery out of art expression and bring it down to the level where it should be. where anybody can do it, where anybody can just scribble out a simple still life form and make it acceptable, which is like what I believe we're doing here. All right, I see 1, 2, 3 tomatoes. Okay, I forgot about this stem. It comes out actually and makes its way into a fork into this guy over here. We'll try to marry those two up with the shadow underneath, a shadow above, not as dark. But there you have it. And we'll lead it off into the sunset with a little stick. You know, and the rest is just fill in with lines for leaves to just make it interesting. I see a leaf up here. Triangular. Triangular diamond shapes for leaves. You can put in the leaf lines to make that interesting. Darken up that leaf. Put in the leaf lines in this leaf down here. Make it appear like a leaf. And darken in the outlines to try to bring this thing to life. But like I say, you know, we're just trying to get through introduction here. And we're not trying to make anything super fancy. If you want to find real well-finished works, thumb through YouTube tutorials, and you're going to see master artists really showing you how to finish off a fine piece of work. But this is a good way to just get started. Just play around with simple shapes from magazine photos, from house and garden, and then later on you'll slowly work up to where you can take on more interesting projects, more advanced projects. So for now, this is what I'm giving you. It's interesting. It's entry. But it's worthy of trying and doing. You'll expand your horizons, and you'll be proud of whatever you come up with. When it's hanging in your house and you walk past it, and it's, especially after it's matted and framed, it's going to look better. And you walk past it in your home, you'll be proud of yourself for having accomplished something. For me, this is therapy. And for you, it's going to be therapy. It's going to be, like I say, expansion and self-fulfillment. You can work off of smaller pads like I mentioned earlier. And then I'm just going to sign it. Don't forget to sign it. And date it. And there's your masterpiece. You know, just from a soft pencil and a pad, and you've come up with something. Whatever it is, it's yours and it belongs to you. And it's part of your soul. It's worth trying, and you'll be glad you did it. So thank you and goodbye.